Hello everybody, Glitch Reaper here, aka the original card game for the win, and I have gotten a pretty good amount of packs of Kaldheim from, well, rank and gameage, so I have some serious rewards. I have 5 packs to open. I thought to just have an opening party, and well, maybe if the right cards come up, I might add them into a particular deck that I've been working on. It's very interesting. Another wild theme, and I pulled off some interesting stuff with it so far, so it's incredibly fun. Let's go to my packs and have an opening party. Wow, I will definitely be getting an extra rare, and still not quite uncommon. It's always funny when your rare is coming in before your uncommon. But let's start opening some Kaldheim, see what all I get, because there's going to be a lot of firsts here. Common wild card's also nice. Fall the Imposter. Okay, that one could come in handy because you get a couple of counters and you get exile a creature from your opponent's side, which is always nice. Fearless Liberator. Hey, boasting makes more dwarves, so if you got a serious dwarf deck, that could get wild. That could be handy for a quick flying block. So I can see Wings of the Cosmos. Pyre of Heroes. Okay, so that allows you to sack a creature and get a creature right onto the battlefield, ramping up the mana cost each time, so you can get progressively bigger creatures out that way. So, yeah, I hadn't really fully read that one before, but it basically says, pay 2 generic, sack a creature, search your library for a creature card that shares a creature type with it, and has converted mana cost equal to 1 plus that creature's converted mana cost. In other words, mana value upcoming for Strixhaven pre-fans, so to speak. Put that card onto the battlefield, then shuffle your library. Activate this ability only in time you could cast a sorcery. So, something you can only do on your turn, but it's basically an alternate way of summoning, without actually calling it a summoner or casting. Death Knell Berserker. Okay. Gates of Isfeld. This is actually my first out of the Lands of Kaldheim that have these special sacrificial abilities other than the World Tree, actually. So this one is able to gain you some life and some card draws, so that's handy. Eradicator Valkyrie. Oh my gosh. Oh, for something that's not a legend, that is an absolute menace. In fact, it's actually sometimes nastier to have mythic rares that are not legendary because they usually have incredible abilities, so if you can have more than one of the same one on the battlefield, you can really do some wacky stuff. So, this one is wicked. Flying, lifelink, hexproof from Planeswalkers. Cannot be targeted by Planeswalker abilities. Boast, pay 1 generic and 1 black, sacrifice a creature. Each opponent sacrifices a creature or a planeswalker. So you still have to do an additional cost to this boast, but you could really, like, if you're getting a lot of tokens, you could just keep sacrificing them and just wear down the enemy. Of course, they might be token versus token, you're just thinning the ranks, so that can happen. But it is a boast, so it can only be played once per turn unless you've got Bergie. And it is only done while you're attacking. So, interesting way of doing it. Well, it just says if this creature attacks this turn. That can be before it actually hits and after, but usually it's done while you're in the middle of the attack phase. So, there's that. But Eradicator Valkyrie. I was thinking of going more heavy into Angels after Kaldheim because of all the Valkyries. That's pretty darn good. I mean, yeah, that's definitely going in that deck. If once I start designing it, but I already have a good amount of Angels, so I've got good progress. So there's that rare. Oh, the next upcoming will be a Mythic rare. Okay, I caught up to that faster than expected. It's a classic enters the battlefield, opponent discards a card thing. Dwarven Reinforcements. So you thought you had dwarves before. Well, here they are. Starnheim Unleashed. Oh, wow, another Mythic Rare. Mythic Rare Sorcery. Create a 4/4 white Angel Warrior creature token with flying and vigilance. If this spell was foretold, create X of those tokens instead. You can foretell it, and well, foretell is you pay 2 on your turn and exile it face down, and then you cast it later for its foretell cost. So basically, you pay twice the amount of angels you want in generic mana and 1 white, and then you get a bunch of angels. So that would be very interesting. But it is a sorcery, so you can't use it to just block a ton of enemies very suddenly. But you can, however, just unleash the angels. Ravenous Lindworm. That's interesting common. Gain 4 life when enters, and it's just large because it's a worm. Worms are usually very large. Got myself an uncommon wild card suddenly. That's nice. So, that's cool. Oh, I found out, interesting note, while I was playing around with the World Tree, I found out that Changeling is not how I described it before in the previous video. It is every creature type all the time. Like, if you see it in your hand, or if you see it in your library, it will still say all right after Shapeshifter. So, Changeling does modify it when it's not on the battlefield. It's something that I didn't have the opportunity to deal with Lauren when I didn't have the opportunity to deal with Lauren when it was first out, and that was when Changeling came around the first time. So it's just not defining the rule here about it applying all the time. I think that was probably better explained before the first round of Changelings. So I have a feeling that something just got lost in the update, and they should just slightly rephrase that of this creature is every creature type at all times. Just a nice little thing. I got one of the bimodal land cards. These don't excite me as much as you'd think. Sure, it has like no limitation of like having to come into battlefield tapped or anything whenever you choose which land you're going to go with, but it's still just not my favorite way of doing lands where you get to choose your color or choose between colors whenever you use it or something like that. You know, multicolor lands, it's just not my favorite way of doing it as bimodal. I do like bimodal when it comes to the god cards of Kaldheim, though. I love how they handle that. But I'm not quite as into a choose your land and then just get stuck with it afterwards. I like having the choice on the land, like Arctic Treeline here. It enters the battlefield tapped, yeah. But then, from then on, you can choose to use green or white as you need it. So I kind of like having that bit of extra utility later on, more so than just immediately when it comes to lands. Because things happen. You can be playing a bit like a deck where your needs change over time. So you might not want to get yourself locked in immediately. I mean, later on, yeah, you might do that, but it's just something to think about. And thinking about this, I would be a good portion of the way to my next mythic rare. Wow, what's up with that? That came pretty quickly. I guess I was doing more dueling than I was giving myself credit for. Wow, the only thing that might be a first in this particular draw is the one here. It shows how much I'm trying to recruit lots of Kaldheim. Although, just saying, this little guy is interesting for a common. 3 generic and 1 black for a zombie cleric. It has a very special, and it's a 3/3. It has a special boast of 3 generic and 1 black. It has return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. So you could basically return creature cards from your graveyard over time, as long as it just doesn't get removed. So that could be very handy. I am wondering something about boast. It's an activated ability, so I'm thinking maybe you can make that even better on you if you had something that reduced the cost of activated abilities. Like I could. There's a few in the current set, so yeah, I might think about that as making that ability a little cheaper. Holy moly! One of the god cards I was after. Oh, I want to collect all the gods in Kaldheim. And humongous progress here because mythic rares are going to be harder to pin down. And even if you, again, as I said with bimodals, I love how they did the god cards. And because you get something awesome and legendary either mode that you choose, having 2 copies literally in your hand isn't even a bad thing, because you can then choose to do both. You can have the god and their associated other thing, whatever that might be, on the battlefield at the same time. So you can basically perform a bit of a theme going there of the god and what they're known for, like Halvar, god of battle, and the Sword of the Realms. Like, you could even equip him with it. It's like equip him with his own other side of the card. You know, his associated weapon would be absolutely an awesome idea to do. Iseka, God of the Tree, is awesome in so many ways, and you will probably be seeing me putting her into my ginormous and fun deck in a moment. Because it is very much God-themed, and how I figured out that thing about changelings, it does count while they're in your library, so all things with changeling are counted as gods, even when they're in your deck, so you can pull them out with World Tree. That was an awesome time. So Iseka, God of the Tree. She's for 1 generic and 2 green. So also think of, when it comes to the gods, think of how this also works with Theros-style gods that have to do with devotion to color, and how devotion to color works, which is just the number of mana symbols and their casting costs of every permanent you control. So she'd count as 2 right there, which is just interesting to think about, that she'd actually contribute to another god being able to go into full power. Her own abilities, she's a 1/4. She has Vigilance, tap to add 1 mana of any color, so she's literally the god of mana adders. Although, admittedly, it's like at the same rate of a lot of green creatures, so it's not like add 3 mana of any color or something like that. That would be impressive. That would have been really cool. And her other ability could just remain the watered-down usual version of that, because those other legendary creatures you control have Vigilance and tap, add 1 mana of any color. So all other legends, not just gods, but legends, also gain that ability. And on the other side, we have the Prismatic Bridge, legendary enchantment. You'd think it'd be a legendary of some sort. Yes, it is. It's a legendary enchantment. Not artifact, enchantment. A lot of the gods are paired with a legendary artifact, although there's a big exception for Valky, and Valky is paired with the Planeswalker Tibalt because of an interesting bit of deception between those two. But the Prismatic Bridge it's a true multicolor card, one that has 1 mana of each color. So pay 1 white, 1 blue, 1 black, 1 red, 1 green, and you can use Prismatic Bridge. It has, at the beginning of your upkeep, reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal a creature or planeswalker card. Put that card onto the battlefield and the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. So basically, you can just keep pulling stuff out of your library for free at the rate of once per upkeep. That is insane, especially when I happen to know a card that will be pushed back into Historic soon that would just absolutely make that go beyond nuts. So, yeah, thank you very much for that. In fact, I might do a little rare shopping now, because I have this rare wild card. Maybe. There's a lot of things I could do, but I will definitely be putting a few things into this overly enormous and incredibly fun deck. Yeah, this is going to be absolutely awesome. Okay. But yeah, I got a ton of cards. That is an opening party. It's not exactly your normal way of going for it. Eradicator Valkyrie? I mean, now there is a Divine Servant of awesome power. But with this deck, I'm a little picky about which Divine Servants I'm throwing into things. So, there's that. Just tons of awesome stuff in a very brief order. Oh my gosh, it's just serious levels of stuff. Okay. Adding in Iseka, God of the Tree. Uh, you will totally. Oh, I also need to add in the Saga because it has to do with the theme of this deck, which is divine. It has to do with divinities, those that directly are said to be serving them, and like including demigods, avatars, actual gods, and of course the shapeshifters that are also of the god type. I might put in the cartouches after a while. And I know there's some other things I'm going to do. I mean, this is going to be a huge deck, very fun, not reliable at all, but hilariously awesome. It's good to just play whenever you want to just play. There was something I was going to throw in here. Or maybe I already have. Because it had a quote based on the interaction between a demigod and a god. Specifically between Helios and Daxos. Daxos being the demigod. So, let's see here. Where was it? Because it was an interesting little griffin. I think it was past the Pixis Corsairs. Last time I checked, anyhow. And that could be a little bit of a thing to look for. Okay. Was it for 4 or was it for 3? I think it may have been for 4 because it's a... Yeah, I think I remember it being past the Inspiring Unicorn. At least I thought so. Oh yeah, here it is, Sunmane Pegasus, because it's saying, chosen by Heliod, Daxos approached the Pegasus without fear, and rode it without saddle or reins. So that's going in too. I might also do some other stuff, but you could tell this is a humongous deck. And it may get bigger over time, just saying. It is just beyond hilarious in size. Okay, now did I get those things in? Quick check. Yeah, I did. Okay, so just gonna show this off now that I've got that in. I'm gonna have to think about. Wait. I know what to get. No, never mind. I'll wait on that one. Or should I'm very indecisive on something right now. But I will play with this ginormous deck to kind of show off a bit of what it's about, and see if I can go for it a bit. Gotta admit, probably should have thrown in a few more changelings now that I know that that works. But, sorry to not have shown that on camera whenever I got the ultimate god combo. Oh, that was ridiculous. And very satisfying. The opponent noped out immediately upon seeing that, and did not give me the opportunity to maul them with a bunch of gods. Gee, could you figure why? Yeah, it was incredibly intimidating. Oh! Yeah. And you get a few interesting things I can think of going with that rare. It might actually be harder to choose where a rare goes than a mythic rare, actually. Oh, hello. We have immediate god cards. Well, that's interesting. Let's go with Indatha. Okay, little guy. Color Swamp, and let's actually put out the Divine Sword. Just a little early, but not too early, because I have a plan. Oh wait, I need to get... see, do I have... I don't have red against that. Not yet, anyhow. We'll gain land, please. Now that is a very angry dinosaur, or at least it can be. Oh, Hydra's growth. This will be a fun one. Zagon. I'm priming Yorion. There's more than one reason to add Yorion into a deck. You know, I've got to experiment. Will it let me do this? It brings him out specifically as Hellfire. Oh my gosh. I had to see how that would work. And now that I know it, it's hilarious. Okay. Did not see that specifically as how that would work, but I'm glad that I found out. That's gonna hurt. Halvar, you might wind up being sacrificial and brought back to life later. Maybe you're the god of battle, but you're gonna get... Holy smokes, what just hit? Shake the foundations. So that's what they did? Oh, they were tripping off their needle-tooth raptors. Ouch. Sorry, Yorion. Actually, I'm gonna need him to hold on. Ephrios. Join me. This time, no. Get an exile next turn. Goodbye. That was interesting. The thing about putting a coin counter is on something is that it'll always be under your control if it dies. I don't think they're going to accidentally blow away their own creatures. Especially when they only need to hit them. You can see this has a lot of gods. And you can see why it's just all over the place. But I'm also making progress towards another quest, and oh, that won't be mine because I don't have Mastery Pass, but I did find out that you can get like over 1,000 back by getting a Mastery Pass, so you're not going to be completely all out the 3,000 some odd. But I do have options when it comes to that rare, because there's still a couple gods I haven't collected yet. And I'm thinking, do I want to go with them? Because And having a second copy would be nice. And when it comes to Legends, you can still have extra copies just in case something happens to the one on the battlefield. So that's always something to think about. I have a lot of other things that Rare could go towards, I'm thinking. Okay. Start little life gain. Triggered God of Fright. Okay. I will go with a little bit more life gain, because either way it'll be a little while before it'll be my next turn whenever I get to play with, my Corsair. Hyper of the Swarm. Are they going ready? I think they're going ready. Foretelling. Well, I don't have the ability to do anything about it right now. So, in that case, see, I don't have any black. I'll just attack. Okay, that's a bigger one. Trial of Invasion. Hello, World Tree. Although, there's something else I can do. Things will go very prismatic in more than one way. Hello, Turgrid. And they're heavy into Cat, which is interesting. Let's get Rick back up to full strength. There we go. But yeah, I have Deathroy waiting here. Nope, not this time. Not today, thank you. Marite of the Frost. Come back to the field, little Corsair. Okay, this from Cat Remastered. Interesting. I'll do Marite with the Frost first. You will not move. And neither will you. It's a pretty cheap one to put out. So for a curse, that's remarkably cheap. It's common? Really? I might think of throwing my common in that direction. Or a couple of them, because there are some curses I'm thinking of grabbing from Cat, so... It's a thought. Decline. Get locked down. That's a good game. Okay. So let's just charge here because there's no like this. Yeah, again, this is a very wild, unpredictable deck, but very fun. Like, I had gods and apex creatures out there, a demigod. It was... And Marita the Frost, he gives something changeling, so he counts as a god creature. So, it's just really wild. So, that's intense. Oh, I only had 2 to go on that? Well, maybe one more round? Oh, and I could get a card. We'll see, we'll see. One more round. One more round, and we'll see what happens. At least if I can get some quest progress. No blue to go with that. Better, because of Halvar. Okay, what do I not need? See, that gives me some variety. I think I don't need my saltwater cliffs. But yeah, forging the Tyrite sword. Pillar of Origins. Oh, they're going in a vampire deck. Duly noted. But yeah, this lets you get Halvar after a while, or some other equipment actually too. I guess that's because he's associated with one. Also, it kind of bumps up your mana because you can get treasure tokens, so you'll be able to afford them more easily. And in the meantime, I can get Ultra the Pantheon out, possibly even Yorion. Because I have enough mana together overall to cast Yorion. Okay, so we have a vampire that drops another vampire after it dies. Please. Thank you. Don't have anything to throw that out at yet. But yeah, story behind D-Spark, basically, him and Kit Gods finally get revenge on Nicopolis. Wait, what are they doing? Aw, they saw what I was gonna do. They apparently had been beaten by Halvar before. So they're just like, nope, nope, not that guy. Ultra the Pantheon, please. Legion Lieutenant. All other vampires get +1/+1, so he's definitely doing a heavy vampire ramp deck. about my enchantment here. This is for creatures, so that will be a no. Having my dragon a little bit to work in there. Thing is, I've got more than half the progress towards getting a Black Lotus. For a pet, again, can you call a plant a pet? I'm wondering. Whoa, okay. Destroying my Ultra the Pantheon. I think they're getting the idea this is a god deck. But, yeah, well, I mean, the previous one basically said Helvar, so... Definitely not letting that one Hello, Yorian. Nice to see you. Yeah, I don't even have something to throw that onto yet, but later maybe. Also, might be able to resurrect Yorian if I need to. Speaking of which, we just killed Yorian. Hello, Yorian's back. What happens if it has nothing specifically to pop back? Okay, it does not. It just sits there. Now, are they going to go for Yorian? Yeah, they will. Obviously. Now, that, on the other hand, would be big enough to exile with that. So, goodbye. Okay. God. Sometimes Yorian is the MVP with my big decks. Just saying. Well, the combo of those things keep bringing him back. That was just beautiful. Okay, so they did manage to get me, but barely. Because if Yorian started attacking, then I would be life draining so much. But the real question was that enough to fulfill the last quest there? Or do we have to go again? Because if I got a quest still waiting for me, I'll go for it. Okay, I could just grab that card a little off screen then, because I did get the quest. And you can kind of see where I'm going with that deck, of it being all about the gods. But I think I've determined what I want to throw this rare on. I think I want it for a very particular land. I've already got World Tree, and therefore I've got at least one copy of it. But there's another very complementary land to gods. In fact, it can make any legendary creature become a god, and any god, whether it's legendary or not, have indestructible. It's not exactly quite 100% perfect, but no, it helps. Now, I am also tempted to throw it down on Jorn, God of Winter, but when you see this land, you'll know why I'm going for that. It's Tyrite Sanctum. You may have seen it in a previous video I did where I was going up against somebody that used it, maybe not. But anyhow, it allows you to pay 2, tap it, target legendary creature becomes a god in addition to its other types, put a +1/+1 counter on it. Now you can also use that to keep giving something +1/+1 counters for 2 and a tap each time, so that's a pretty good deal just there. It also has pay 4 and tap it, sacrifice Tyrite Sanctum, put an indestructible counter on target god. And this is partially because the gods in Kaldheim, unlike a lot of traditional god cards, don't have either indestructible or something to bring them back. Like the ones in Hour of Devastation, the ones in War of the Spark, they kind of brought themselves back after being defeated, but they didn't have indestructible either. So it was like a different way of doing it. But the gods in Kaldheim don't have any particular way of preventing them from being dead or staying dead. So this is kind of a way to get around that. And it also allows you to kind of build up your own god card, because you can make something into a god and then make it indestructible. So this does a lot of crazy stuff. And as you could think, I'm definitely throwing this down into that deck pretty much immediately, because I do have a rare wild card, and I will throw it down for it. So thank you. And I wouldn't mind having multiple extra copies of that. I may do a little searching off later for throwing around some commons and uncommons, although I can see pretty quickly if I can grab maybe another changeling or two, since I know that that works out well. Okay, so see, Absorb Identity is cool because it allows you to make shapeshifters become copies of that creature until end of turn. Very interesting twist. And it's good because I have a decent amount of shapeshifters, so I will think about that one. It's like, okay, that's an option? Well, yeah. So, I could go for that. Oh, and remember, whenever anything has changed, it's all creatures types at all times, so if you have to have a certain creature type to use kind of what they call a tribal spell, then it would work. So Giant's Grasp, I could see combining with that. That could be wild pretty quickly. So let's see here. Are there any other changelings I don't have yet? Okay, and again, by changelings I mean shapeshifters with the changeling ability. It's not their creature type. They're all types, so it's like everything works. Uncommon for some Valkyries could be something later, is a thought. Just not right now. Did I already get most of the changelings in this cycle? Not entirely, because there's definitely one right here. Also, the Rune of Might. I consider that part of this god deck because in Norse mythology, they were granted by the gods to the people as a very special gift to them. So, yes, that's something I'm going to be grabbing, but Gladewalker Ritualist, I don't think I'd go for it right now, just because that one seems to have a little less oomph than the Rune of Might. Yeah, is there another... Wait, I've collected most of the changelings already? Seriously? Well, that was faster than I expected. Okay then. Okay then. That's fair. I've already got most of them already. Okay. Okay. And as for runes, I think that might be the last of the runes that I need to collect. So if that's true, I'd definitely get it with this one because I also want to collect the runes. They're a very cool subset that I really like. So yeah, I'm going for that. Yeah, I think that may be my last rune that I need to have collected all runes. Not everything rune related yet. There's another thing I need for that one. But I can certainly get behind grabbing the Rune of Might. Okay, Rune of Might obtained. And a couple of commons, but I might. Oh yeah, there was that thing in Amonkhet. Not collected. Amonkhet remastered, please. Yeah, I hadn't had much time to collect a lot of these, so that's definitely something that I haven't collected much of. I have some, but not too terribly much, so there's that. I think it was, oh yeah, Trespasser's Curse. It's not going to go into that deck immediately, but it's just something I'm grabbing immediately, since I'm thinking of it. So there is that. I'd almost forgot that the cartouches were counting as commons. Okay, so I might get. See, cartouche. Do I already have the other cartouche? Maybe I was already recollecting some of the cartouches. Because again, I have all the cartouches and have had for quite some time on Magic Duels. That's something I've had for a while. I got them way before the big card giveaway that they did, where they gave you all the cards if you already had the game, when they was kind of taking the whole game out of rotation in terms of actually, like, you know, servicing it or anything. That was a moment. It looks like that might be my last cartouche that I need out of recollecting them. I'm willing to spend a few common wild cards to recollect a few things I already have. So there's that. Okay, I do also need the cartouche of strength again as well. So I need both of those. I think I'd like to go for the cartouche of ambition first. There we go. I'm now officially out of wild cards. But otherwise, I'll keep going with a few things. It's been a great time. I liked having my opening party and showing off my my divine deck. So I'll be logging off soon. Hope to hear from you all later. Bye for now, everybody, and remember, MTG forever.